Welcome to another episode of Brand Decoded. Thank you for stopping by, watching this second rant in a row. So, there's one incredibly fascinating observation. The YouTube, when it came out, it was like 15 years ago, I couldn't fathom myself putting myself on a camera. And now you have a whole generation of Gen Z that has been growing up recording themselves non-fucking stop since the age of 10. Like, you cannot get more natural on camera than Gen Z. For me, hopping on this camera, take three. Like, I have to start this video multiple times to get myself in the mindset that I can do this video. And I can still have a pause and block. So the mechanisms at play on the young brain that's adjusted to video games. Luckily, I was one of those that was adjusted to the video games growing up. But a lot of millennials, they're just not tuned for tech. It's like we are boomers of the new age. We are not accustomed to sitting in front of the camera and talking. It just doesn't compute to us in the same manner that it does for the Gen Z. And Gen Z, they're like little pattern recognition terminators. They're finding like, oh, do this, do that. And they just like repeat things that are bringing back the bacon, right? They're bringing back the results. And people are like, how the hell are these kids making millions of dollars? Because they're playing a game. And they are better at playing this game because they've been playing this game for a long while. So Gen Z can have like 24 years old now and has 14 years of video experience, 14 years of like messing around on the video. It's incredible. And some of these people, they just have 14 years of experience at the age of 24. You can't beat that unless you start playing the game. So I'm looking at the old geezers right now. Like, you cannot compete with this machinery unless you become it. Luckily, I used to play it insane amounts of World of Warcraft, so I know what it takes, and I can organize a team, and I will get someone to slice and dice these. But you know what? Fuck it. I like making these raw videos where I can drop an F-bomb and just speak my mind. Like, it's one of those things that I like doing. And not worry about using like a lot or making pauses and stuff, because if I sit hyped up in front of the camera, none of that matters because people can feel your energy. So get pumped in front of the camera and do a lot of videos and things will flow on their own. But imagine a millennial as like, they're massively turning 40, myself included, like in a couple of years. So how are we gonna figure it out? Like, in this new age economy where the Gen Z has such a supremacy when it comes to video. It's incredible. And the corporates are finding it like really hard to recruit younger talent that is just throwing itself out there. So the kids that are getting the highest amount of visibility, they dictate the terms. The game's like so stacked up in their favor that it's not even funny. And at a certain point, you just have to look at the younger generation and say, hey, this kid that's like 10, 15 years younger than me, he's better than me. Like, I can't believe that he's actually better than me. And the sooner you accept that as a reality, the faster you will get into a point of being able to correct your behaviors. For me, this was an acceptance that I actually can produce some videos. Like, that I forced myself watching these 22-year-olds that are banking like Iman Gadzi. 10 years of YouTube experience. Like, you can go and look at his backlog 10 years ago. Like, I want to be a YouTuber. I want to get the fame. And working on that every day. Every day. Like, that's his only thing. His only dream and purpose was like to get the views on his content. And when you set your mind to do something, you eventually do. Like, my tweets a year ago. So we're talking like February 2023. they would get on a good day 400 impressions, 500 impressions. Like baseline tweet would be yielding me, let's say 200 impressions. Now my baseline tweets are 2,000 impressions, like 10x growth within 1 year. It's not bad at all, or less than a year. So if you want to improve something, you get to do it over and over and over again, and you get enough of the iterations that it just becomes natural to create content. I didn't even know what I was going to talk about this video. I was like, oh, Gen Z versus millennials, who makes more money? And why Gen Zs are crushing millennials in the wealth generation. That's going to be the headline of the video. I just thought about it right now. I didn't even know what the title of the video was going to be. That's the number of iterations I got to do. I got to drop content constantly, and only then will I be able to become good at it. There's no other way. There's no other way. Like, look at the guys that are constantly dropping content. They're just machines. The Danko, absolute fucking machine. Daniel Fazio, insane beast. Even Dakota Robertson, it's like, what? So, circumventing that gap, I am going to get an editor sooner or later, at some point. But in the meanwhile, there's nothing wrong dropping these videos because raw videos are also working. Daniel Fazio is kind of proof of that. The guy, Cold Email Wizard, if you don't know who he is on Twitter. Follow him, cool content. I love the attitude. I don't think though that the Gen Z will have a lot of empathy for the millennials that have not figured it out. Like massively. I'm looking at the stories from my personal life from my high school. Like I'll give these two examples. We're the same age or like slight difference. My high school friend makes $1,000 a month. I swear to God, maybe 1,500. I hired him for a few months and fired him. I just didn't feel that there was enough of competence, and he went to the same high school class as I did. It's completely devastating to think, how does your life look like when you're making $1,000 a month? Even in Serbia, it's not a lot of money. You're like 37 and you haven't figured it the fuck out. It's devastating, right? Like I feel like I'm not where I should be, but like the numbers say that I'm far ahead. And I'm like, if that's how the life looked like for me at the age of 37, I'll be like, holy fuck, life sucks, right? And I'm glad I've been in self-development for all these years because it shows, because you are leaving people within 10 years difference miles behind you. And I don't want to be hearing stories like, oh, it's Serbia, and the life's hard. No, it's not. Serbia is like doing well. It's doing exceptionally well with all the Saudi money coming in and Russian oil and all that shit. It's like a whole different ball game. And there's opportunity everywhere as long as you put in the work. And then my other college friend, 2 kids and the total mess in the household, doesn't find like an agreement with the wife, and they're arguing over money, and makes 2K and she makes like nothing. And it's just like a very, life's not good. And the thing is, it won't get good until you make it good. The life, if you go the default path, and I've been looking at the people that were like, get a job, go to work, come back home, wait for something to happen, does not fucking work. That type of reality does not yield positive outcomes in life, and over a course of a decade, you can see the results. I left my home country, I started my own business, and I've grinded my eyes out, and like thankfully, I could say, oh, it's stressful sometimes, but it's good. And I've worked my ass for it to be good. And you just gotta keep at it. You gotta be your own source of light and attraction in life. And that's why I'm dropping these raw, uncut videos in order to connect with people that can resonate with who I am as a person. and maybe share some life lessons along the way. Like, hey, Gen Zs are cut out more for this reality that we're living today than millennials will ever be, because the video is like takes up all the air, and these kids were like doing selfie videos from the day they got their first smartphone. My generation, like, no one did videos for a substantial amount of time because video wasn't our primary way of communicating. There was no TikTok, and that's it. Like, this created an environment in which people that are more accustomed to creating content have an absolute supremacy. So millennials, wake the fuck up, get that camera out, shoot that video.